And so we're on to the 12-mark question, and I'm just going to put a few things down to help you here, because there's a little bit of technique that generally as a class we need to improve on, and there's a little bit of subject knowledge as well. So first of all, you have to have a main reason. And in this case, if we're doing a bit of subject knowledge as well, I think the main reason why there was a disputed succession to the English throne when William I died was because William had 3 ambitious sons. Okay, so you make your point, William had 3 ambitious sons, but you've got to have some information to back this up. Well, there was Robert. He wanted to control Normandy even before William died, and they ended up falling out. There was William Rufus, who was supposedly William I's favourite son, as we're about to see later, and there was Henry, who received money but wasn't satisfied with that, as we will come to see. So that's my main reason, because if there was only one son, well, there wouldn't have been a disputed succession, because there'd have been only one person who would have inherited both Normandy and England. Job done. So you need to have some information that goes in there, and you need to explain how it caused a succession crisis. So the word reason is going to have to be in your answer a few times. I mean, we did this before, and also disputed and succession. Those words have got to be in your answer. Another reason why is because William and Robert fell out. Now you can see my textbook at the side here. William, Robert and revolt in Normandy. And at this revolt, it all sparked off. William was angry, he wanted to take over Normandy so William could have England, Robert have Normandy, even before William died, but William was not having that, wasn't letting it happen. William, Rufus and Henry managed to fall out with Robert because apparently he peed on him from the top of a gallery, peeing into Robert and his friends. William came in to stop the fighting, but Robert wasn't happy. He disappeared and went off to get a castle from the King of France, and used that castle to keep, there you go, the ruler of France and Flanders took advantage. They gave Robert knights in the castle at Yr10. So William went off to go and deal with Robert, but he lost. And the situation was, you ended up with the younger generation of Norman sons, led by Robert, the older generation led by William. And the older generation weren't happy about this fight. You know, they'd lost that battle, but it was, you know, if their young ended up having to fight and kill their sons, who was going to inherit for them? So William found after he'd lost that battle at Yr10, he found that he had to make peace. Now, why is that all significant, that little story? I've actually disappeared off the question myself just to explain it all to you. Well, under normal circumstances, the eldest son would inherit the throne and probably everything. However, because he fell out, William didn't want to do this. Yeah, so he fell out, he didn't want to give everything. So under normal circumstances, he would have given Robert the inheritance of everything, but William wasn't inclined to do that because he didn't like Robert, even though he was the eldest son. So William, he named Robert his heir, but he wasn't specific on what he meant by that. And it turns out when he died, what he meant by that was he named Robert his heir to Normandy, but not to England, which William Rufus ended up getting. Maybe if William and Robert hadn't fallen out, Robert would have inherited everything. There wouldn't have been a succession crisis. So those would be my 2 big reasons. And actually, in terms of my recommendation for you, it would be to do 2 reasons. So do 2 reasons, spend more time on 16 marker. But you've got to nod at something else. You've got to mention something else, even if you're not going to spend ages on it. And the 3rd reason here, if it help you out if you did, is the barons unhappy about having two masters, or actually I should call them tenants in chief, unhappy about having two masters. So they held land in Normandy and England. So Robert was their master in Normandy and William Rufus in England. That's a problem if they fall out, and they did, because if, say, Robert and William Rufus came to blows, and one of them, they're both going to ask for you to give them support, because you control land from them on their behalf. If we go back to the feudal system, so the barons aren't happy about this. So what they do in 1088 is some Norman, we'll call them barons for the sake of this. Some Norman barons spot a revolt against William Rufus. So if I go along on my textbook here, and you can pause, you can read this if you can see it. There we go. It talks about this. So if you pause this, you can read that bit of the book there. And there they are, the noble's dilemma. The nobles now faced a third decision you looked at very next time. When they held land in both England and Normandy. This hadn't been a problem when William was king, but if there was rulers on both thrones, like different rulers on both thrones, then there's going to be trouble. And there was a rebellion of 1088. Now William Rufus dealt with it really aggressively, just perhaps like his dad would have done, and he solved it. But that was another reason for succession crisis, because it put the barons in an awkward position. So there you go.